This is a 99 Jeep TJ that the owner is saying there's something wrong with the front end. So I'm going to try to take a look at it and see what the issue is. I drove it and it's yeah, it's got a little loose Jeep front end, but I'm not so sure there's anything we can do about that. Well, overall it doesn't drive too bad. It's loud as heck. Got a couple of exhaust leaks. You hear that? It's standard transmission. It kind of tracks down the road a little. The steering wheel's kind of quirky. It does have a little bit of play in the steering wheel, but not too much compared to other old Jeeps like this. Brakes work good, but I feel some torque in the motor, maybe a bad motor mount or something like that. So we're going to take a look at that in a minute. Well, overall it doesn't drive too bad. It's loud as heck. Got a couple of exhaust leaks. You hear that? It's standard transmission. It kind of tracks down the road a little. The steering wheel's kind of quirky. It does have a little bit of play in the steering wheel, but not too much compared to other old Jeeps like this. Brakes work good, but I feel some torque in the motor, maybe a bad motor mount or something like that. So we're going to take a look at that in a minute. So it shifts pretty good. It's got good pedal. The brakes are good. Like I say, it shifts good. But it is a dog on the freeway. I mean, not a lot of pickup after 50 miles an hour. All right, one thing I did notice is this oil pressure to me is uncomfortably low, if that is correct. Now when I rev the motor, you know, it comes up, but a little bit about this Jeep. It's been, looks like Raptor lined, gray, and you know, I'm not too big of a fan of the Raptor line Jeep. I mean, it supposedly makes it more tough, but if you take a look here, you see rust can get underneath this coating and you really can't see it or fix it until it might be too late. But otherwise, the panels look good. It looks like it didn't have a lot of rust on it when they Raptor lined it. It looks like they Raptor lined the whole thing. It's got some BF Goodrich KO2s. It does have some cheap yellowed work lights here. One of the things I always thought was funny about these TJs is the steering gearbox sticks out of the front. So when the factory bumper was on here, you could still see that. It's got aftermarket, looks like LED blinkers and some faded aftermarket, looks like Amazon special headlights. And under the hood, we have the venerable 4-liter straight 6. Let's ease this back. And looks pretty typical. Looks like it has not been destroyed with cold air intakes and what have you. It looks pretty stock. This is looks like a non-air conditioner version. Looks like somebody's got some type of aftermarket lighting on here, probably for those. Let's see here. Looks fairly dry. I don't see hardly any oil leaks. This thing's only got 140 something thousand miles on it, so as you know, it's not much for these 4-liters. Looks pretty good. I don't see any major damage or disruption in the factoriness. Take a look inside. And it's pretty typical with the exception of the plastic part on here. Looks like they Raptor lined this piece here, which is not too bad, I don't guess. Aftermarket radio. It is a 5-speed. 4-wheel drive, obviously. And it does look like it's got some aftermarket seats in it. Or seat covers. Maybe it's a seat cover. But I don't know. I'm not so sure I'm a fan of those, but anyhow. And let's see what we got back here. Can't open that. Not sure why. Looks like these are the backup lights. Alright, let's see. Oh, okay. Well, if you ask me, that's a waste of space. These things got very little space. Anyway, some earmuffs. But hey, to each his own, right? Okay. Well, I mean, it looks in fairly decent shape. Aftermarket bumper. Although I haven't been commissioned to fix anything on this thing yet, I will fix this door check. Looks like something broke off there, because when you take the door check off, you take it off back here. Looks like this stripped out. So I always like to leave things better when they bring it from me than when they dropped it off. So I'll at least fix that for the guy. So one of the things I found is this power steering fluid is very low. So it looks like it might have a little leak in this line right here. The oil looked okay. It looks like this computer module probably was changed at one point. It's gold. A lot of times people change those, and that's really not the issue. Looks like it's got a new oil pressure sending unit. Not many leaks though, as I said before, so overall it looks pretty good. I don't know what this is for. Alright, I see. That's battery hold down. That's not what you want in a Jeep for sure. Not good. So I'm going to make him a list of things I think he needs to fix. Alright, underneath you can see we got a radiator leak here. Looks like somebody's changed the oil pan gasket that doesn't leak. Looks pretty good. And somebody's obviously been under here and changed the steering gearbox. It says it's remanufactured. But no leaks. I do see the bump stops are all corroded and missing right there. But overall it looks pretty good. The frame's solid, very little rust. The only play I can see so far on these tie rod ends, they're moving around a little bit. So, you know, so I would probably recommend changing these. We'll jack it up and see if I got any ball joint or wheel bearing play. So it really doesn't have any side-to-side movement, but it's got a little bit of up and down, so these wheel bearings are wearing. Also, you can see where this track bar mounts, that's pretty much shot. That's actually a little bit loose there. What I do is I can put a pry bar, and that thing moves big time. You really shouldn't get any movement out of that. So another thing I do is I'll take a pry bar and I'll go up here, see if I get any movement. And the U-joint, I don't. See if I get any movement on this ball joint. I don't. So both of these ball joints look good. I don't really see any other thing other than I would change the track bar, and then I would change each one of these loose tie rod ends. That ought to fix him up. Now let me check the other wheel. All right, let's check this passenger side wheel. So nothing side to side, and nothing up and down. So this side seems good. All right, checking these ball joints. That one's tight. I checked that bottom one; it was tight, and the U-joints are tight. Now this piece right here, that drag link needs to be replaced because it is loose. Let's see if I can show you. It's loose a little bit, but so I would replace inner and outer tie rods, which is part of this drag link. That tie rod thing that goes to the pitman arm right there, and the track bar. And This looks okay, but I don't see any oil leaking from the stabilizer. It looks like somebody has changed the sway bar bushings in end links fairly recently. All right, that's about all I'm going to do to this. And as suspected, the radiator fluid is extremely low because of that leak, I suspect. So I'm going to top this off. I'll top this off for him, and then I will give him a list of what my suggestion is: track bar, the drag link, the tie rod ends, change the lower radiator hose, maybe the upper if he wants to, and the power steering pressure hose. Now you can adjust these boxes. What you do is you have to unloosen this little hex nut there, and then you tighten or loosen this. But I don't recommend doing that because, you know, if this thing gets too tight, it'll bind up, and that will not be fun while you're going down the interstate. Okay, another thing I noticed is this fuel rail right here. This is braided. I think this might be aftermarket, but I see some residual. Looks like fluid. Hopefully it's not gas, but this is real loose, and if you look way down here, it's actually rubbing on the bottom of the firewall. Let's see if you can see it. All right. You see right there? That's just a problem waiting to happen. That's going to rub right through and start spewing fuel everywhere. So I'm going to see if I can tie that off for him and let him know. Now, by contrast, on the fuel rail, this is a 2000 model, just 1 year different. And you see it's not braided. It looks like it's rubber there. And it is extremely rigid, meaning that it doesn't move any. And there's a mounting bracket down there. But anyhow, so that is definitely an issue there. I'm going to go ahead and fix that, or not fix it, but put this... I'll split this old fuel line, and I'm going to stick it as a cushion between where that fuel line is rubbing, because that's dangerous. All right, you can see, get you up in here, where this line was rubbing. All right, let's see, where are we at here? Okay, so follow it down. So right here, look, you see where it's rubbing on that piece there? It definitely will rub through this line right here. So I'm going to put a piece of fuel line over this right here. All right, showing about free repair. See, basically all I did was cut that fuel line in half, put it over the hose. That way it'll give it a little barrier between that and where it vibrates up against this firewall here, to give him a little bit more life out of that before it splits through. Now, under the back end of this, another thing I would do, this catalytic converter is rubbing against this skid plate, and it looks like it just might need somebody turn the exhaust down. It used to go out the back, but a few more exhaust hangers would work well on this. The back U-joints look pretty good. No play. They're old though. These are new, rear control arms. Somebody's been back here. And another piece I noticed that was fairly new on this were these brake lines. So somebody's done a brake job on it. The shocks aren't that old. I mean, it rides okay. There's that repair again. All right, that's about it. All right, folks, that's all we got time for today. So showed you a little bit of work needed on this old 99 TJ Jeep, and maybe the person that I'm doing this for will change the suggested parts, who knows. But I'm hoping it helps him out, and I'm hoping it helps y'all out. Y'all have a great day.